Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Let's get after it.
Neil deGrasse Tyson needs to grow up. I think Neil deGrasse Tyson is jealous. He's acting more like an astrologer than an astronomer. He's acting more like a priest.
Scientific community has been not just skeptical of UFOs for generations, but I would say fairly hostile.
That looks too much like a spaceship.
So, the reason why it's probably not aliens is its trajectory around the sun was completely determined by gravitational forces.
How do you know?
Because we calculate this.
Look at the people who are the most against it. They're actually not practicing scientists. They're opinion scientists. When's the last time any of these people have actually been anywhere near a laboratory or near a measurement device?
The signal we get from it is elongated, but it's probably a rubble pile stretched into that shape. Because you don't get that by nature. You don't get that.
Yeah, that's why it's man-made.
These people should be forced to give back their PhDs.
The problem is that scientists are not seeking evidence. They're not really studying those objects that look anomalous.
Oumuamua could not have been made by us because it was passing near us just for a few months, very quickly, faster than any rocket that we can launch. That's why we couldn't really chase it when it was receding away from us. And it came from outside the solar system. So, I just do 1 + 1 = 2. I say, okay, it looks very peculiar. Maybe it belongs to another civilization.
I attended a colloquium about Oumuamua at Harvard University, and I left the room after it was over with a colleague of mine that worked on space rocks for decades. That colleague said, Oumuamua is so weird, I wish it never existed. To me, that's exactly the opposite of the way a scientist should approach anomalous data. It should be an exciting opportunity to learn something new.
I can't imagine why anybody would be upset that it exists. Like, I wish it didn't exist. That's kind of hilarious.
I like that video because I can't stand Neil deGrasse Tyson. I agree with everything they're saying about him. There's a lot more I'd like to add, but we're too early in the video and I'll get demonetized if I start talking about Neil deGrasse Tyson. I don't know if the Black Knight satellite is man-made or if it's some alien craft or alien tech, but there's no harm in investigating it to see if it is something that's from outside of our known understanding of crafts or whatever it may be. It's worth looking into. To just write it off as stupid.
Acoustic levitation is a method for suspending matter in air against gravity using acoustic radiation, pressure from high-intensity sound waves. It works on the same principles as acoustic tweezers by harnessing acoustic radiation forces. However, acoustic tweezers are generally small-scale devices which operate in a fluid medium and are less affected by gravity, whereas acoustic levitation is primarily concerned with overcoming gravity. Technically, dynamic acoustic levitation is a form of acoustophoresis, though this term is more commonly associated with small-scale acoustic tweezers. Levitation is a promising method for containerless processing of microchips and other small delicate objects in industry. Containerless processing may also be used for applications requiring very high purity materials or chemical reactions too rigorous to happen in a container.
I wish that I knew how to replicate this here at home because I would be doing this constantly, moving stuff around with levitation. Specifically myself, be trying to figure out how to make a magic carpet or something. I'm convinced that using auditory levitation is how they built the pyramids.
I have brought something that's going to blow the lid off of this case. This is the 1929 archaeological report by Loud and Harrington of UC Berkeley. In this archaeological report, which I discovered, there's actual mentions of them finding giants in this cave, red-headed giants. Now, we're going to go to the location marked on the map inside the cave that they found the giant. And later I'll read to you exactly what they say about the giants found in the cave, about evidence of flaming arrows they found in this cave, and victims of cannibalism. So I brought a good lighting system. We're going to go in here and we are going to scan this entire cave. And I know we're going to find something incredible. So let's go inside and take a look. Welcome back to Lovelock Cave. I'm in the north end of the cave. In this location is where archaeologists found the remains of the red-headed cannibal giant. This is the north central part of the cave. The cannibal giant had a rope around his neck and his legs were bound, just like he had been hung. They had hung a red-headed cannibal giant. Who did it? We don't know. Was it the Native Americans when they defeated them in battle? Was it other red-headed cannibal giants? We don't know. I'm hoping to see petroglyphs, pictographs, something on the...
That's pretty cool because this guy's going to an actual location where we have written documentation that a giant was supposedly found there. This video goes on. There's a part 2. I'm going to throw it in here real quick.
His body was mummified and his hair was distinctly red. There was a grass rope about his neck with a knot under the left ear. The rope was about 8 feet long. The feet were bound together from the ankle to above the knees with rope. The mummification was complete except for part of the abdomen. The other mummies all had red hair. I think there were 4 or 5 more. Those that appeared to be women were small. This was not due to the shrinking of the bodies in mummification, because the man was a giant. This is the 1929 archaeological report from the University of California, Berkeley. The man was a giant. The woman had on moccasins, which reached clear to their knees, and buckskin coats beaded with shells. 2 of them had on a kind of buckskin gown that came down to the knees. These bodies were from the north end of the cave. So this is the spot that the cannibal giant, with a rope around his neck and his legs bound with red hair, was found in this exact spot in the archaeological report. Let's take a look at the rest of the cave. This is the west end of the cave, or the west side, I should say. Here's the ceiling, the west ceiling.
That's fascinating. Whether you believe or don't believe that giants existed or still exist, the fact that we have written documentation stating that they did exist and that all of these documented accounts of finding giants all have these same red hairs, 6 fingers on each hand, 6 toes on each foot. This one here didn't mention the 6 fingers and 6 toes, but the red hair falls right in line. That's just fascinating. I love this giant stuff. Hey, if you're enjoying this video, I make a new one just like it every single day. It'd be awesome if you'd hit that subscribe button and come back tomorrow to join me.
Scientists have just discovered that there may be people living inside of the Earth. Scientists have recently learned that there is a huge ocean underneath the Earth's crust after they detected movements below the surface. Around 400 miles deep, a large supply of water has been found stored in rock named ringwoodite. This rock is so huge that even if it only comprised of 1% water, then it would have 3 times as much water than the Earth has on its surface. This is leading many people to believe that there is more down there than we originally thought. And it's possible that there could or could have been civilizations that lived below our surface. This changes everything and proves that a lot of what we think we know about our planet and everything around us is just a theory. While the news of this discovery was years ago, it was scarcely talked about. Some believe that this is because they are trying to hide something from us, and that the scientists who made this discovery were told not to investigate further. But if the Earth's core was really what we theorized it to be, then how could water and life possibly be sustained there?
We know that there's life living in all these caves and stuff. As far as theories go, I can get behind hollow earth a lot more than I could get behind flat earth. Not to the extent that there's like a sun and a moon and stuff inside the earth. I think that's ridiculous. To say that there's zero possibility that some of these leftover individuals from advanced previous civilizations survived by tunneling underneath the Earth's surface and waiting things out, and then they stayed down there and created civilizations and are just currently hidden from us, that's totally within the realm of possibility. We've got uncontacted tribes living on islands right now in 2024, so it's totally within the realm of possibility. And with all these tunnels and stuff that they're building, who knows, they could be in contact with whoever's living below the surface.
All right, you don't want to know how I acquired this, a real Freemasonic Bible? 1955. Earth. The Earth was regarded as the universe itself. Every other body, the heavens, sun, moon, and stars being subsidiary to it. There seem traces of the idea that the world was a disk, bordered by the ocean and Jerusalem as its center. Heaven. The Jews divided heaven into three parts: the atmosphere, where the clouds gather, the firmament, in which sun, moon, and stars are fixed, and the upper heaven, the abode of God and his angels.
If the sun, moon, and stars are fixed in the heavens, then they're not fixed in the literal sense, because we know they move, because the moon passes in front of the sun all the time when we have an eclipse.
The red mercury is a substance that the government has denied its existence for years because its ability to do this one thing. Red mercury, aka also known as vampire blood, is a substance that has magical properties. You know what's funny about this is that red mercury can actually, when you put it in the mirror, you can't see its reflection. This is where it gets crazy, because that's just the surface level of red mercury. It gets attracted to gold, and guess what repels it? Garlic repels red mercury. You're lying. Now, if you think that's crazy, it gets even crazier, because red mercury is a substance that during the nuclear arms race, they tried to deny its existence because apparently red mercury has the ability to shrink nuclear arms to the size of this to be fit in your pocket and still be as deadly, if not more.
That's fucking insane.
The whole garlic thing could be made up. The whole gold thing could be made up. The whole not being able to see it in the mirror could be made up. But there's been a big campaign out there. That's one thing you could say, that there's a big campaign out there saying that this substance does not exist.
Is anyone else getting tired of these podcast bros making up conspiracy theories? I mean, they don't even put any effort into it. There's no way that there's any substance out there, red mercury or anything else, that's going to shrink a nuclear device down to the size that you can stick it in your pocket and carry it around with you. That's just ridiculous.
Guys, so I literally had to stop what I was doing. I was sitting here watching this YouTube video of an official NASA rocket shuttle launch because I decided it's time to stop listening to flat earthers. Let me go directly to the source, official NASA rocket launch footage, and there it is, clear as day, curvature, as you can see. I literally paused it where I was, had to come and record this. So again, guys, here it is, official NASA launch footage, shows a curved Earth. Watch. Curved. What the? Why the? What the fuck is it flat? The fuck? Come on. It's fucking concave all of a sudden. What the? Hold up. This is horse shit. This is official NASA rocket launch footage. It's curved. There's your proof. But like, oh, fuck.
All right, that's funny. That just is more evidence that NASA's lying to us. I don't believe in a flat Earth. I find that video to be hilarious. We need to get a new conspiracy going. Concave Earth.
Here's my 110-pound iron-working anvil. I set it in here and see if it floats. Okay, it doesn't seem to want to stay upright. I'll just let it tip over. There it is. It's floating. Look at that.
The iron anvil floats because mercury has a density nearly twice that of iron. In fact, due to the density ratios, the iron actually floats better than wood does in water.
Oh, it's hard to push down. Put my hammer in. Hammer floats too. That's pretty great. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you next time.
The description of the video on this one says that this video proves that gravity is just a theory and doesn't exist. I can get behind that gravity is just a theory because there's a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense in relation to gravity. But I could be totally wrong. I'm just some dude in his bedroom making YouTube videos. I'm not really a scientist, so. But I don't know how many scientists I actually truly have faith in that they're actually telling us the truth anymore.
This is the Lunar rover. I actually think they just went to Hawaii 5-0 and stole some beach chairs and a beach umbrella. Okay.
That's what it looks like.
A dune buggy. And actually one of our researchers, literally took this picture and compared it to blueprints, and it's a Wrangler Jeep chassis. Okay. It's a Wrangler Jeep chassis. Look at this, Dave. This, you zoom in on this. This is literally weaved beach chair. It's got the little beach thing. This is an umbrella, painted gold. There's duct tape on these fenders. And there's a shot, I think this might be the shot where you can't see, there's no tire tracks. So like, how'd it get there? Okay. And then you watch the footage of these guys driving around, it's like, they're dolls. I don't even think they're real. You know, they literally look like dolls that are taped in there and put around. But if you look at the cost of this thing, Dave, it was $38 million back in 1970. Today, for the cart, yeah, 38 million. Today, for 37 million, you can get this. Okay.
Wow.
I know this video is supposed to be proving that, you know, the Earth's flat, and that's why NASA's lying. I think NASA's just lying because it's a big money laundering operation. They're making up all this space exploration stuff and all this high-tech lunar rovers and all this stuff because they're getting all of our tax money, and they're hoarding it and doing God knows what with it.
You mentioned the Illuminati tried recruiting you. What exactly happened there?
It was like Bella Thorne's party, and like didn't feel right. And then there was a bunch of rules you had to do to get in the party, like no phone, sign a contract. But then they wanted to prick your blood for you to get in.
So do you believe certain people in Hollywood are kind of selling their souls almost?
I would say people work with the devil for sure, whether they know it or not. Not everybody knows it, but when you use the word like sell your soul, that sounds like you can't never get it back. It's never too late to repent and get back right with God.
Did anyone else understand like what she was saying? It hurts my brain trying to comprehend someone talking like that. That being said, I will give her the benefit of the doubt. It seems like she's trying to do the right thing and warn people because everybody knows this crap goes on in Hollywood.
I was watching this documentary today. It's a new James Fox documentary about a UFO thing in Brazil in 1996. Holy shit, it's incredible. I had no idea that there's this city called Varginha in Brazil. And in 1996, according to everyone who was there, according to medical records of people who were there, military came in, cordoned off the area, they recovered a crashed UFO. And there was living creatures that people came in contact with. And one of them was this tiny little thing that this guy carried. And he carried it to wherever they were going to examine it. And when he carried it, he got whatever was on its skin. It had like a slippery kind of skin. It got into his body and infected him. And he wound up with this horrible general infection. He wound up dying. His body shut down. His immune system shut down. His body didn't know what the fuck to do with this alien thing that he was interacting with. And there's real records of this guy contacting this thing, grabbing it, carrying it in. All these people witnessed it.
I find it more fascinating that there are groups of people that don't believe these stories.
The documentary that he's talking about, I believe it's called The Phenomenon, if I'm remembering correctly. I watched it as soon as it came out, and it is so freaking good. It is probably one of the most well-documented cases of an alien crash site because of just the sheer number of witnesses and the people, how many people came into contact with this thing. It's pretty crazy, and there's a ton of witness testimony in this movie. It is so compelling.
How come nobody talked about what this man said on Joe Rogan's podcast? Listen very carefully.
We all will suffer from some form of dementia. Neuropathy occurs. There is a really wonderful, safe, and legal mushroom to use, and that's called lion's mane. This is a smart mushroom. Now, the tragedy that we face, I believe, as a society, we're all going to suffer through neuropathy, forgetting, not remembering. So I think this is something that's really extraordinarily exciting.
So what this man is talking about is the lion's mane mushroom, and all the benefits are listed right here, but like this man said, it has cognitive properties that can break the scientific world. So basically it boosts mental clarity and focus while also getting rid of brain fog and therefore improving your overall mood. So if you're a person like me that could never focus and you thought you had ADHD because of your low attention spans, it's probably just because your cognitive levels are low. And this would be amazing for you. The best part is, if you pair it with complementary mushrooms such as chaga or cordyceps, then not only can it be great for your brain, but it can also help reduce stress and anxiety, as well as improve immunity, energy, focus, and your overall brain function. But I know what you're thinking. If these mushrooms are so great, why hasn't my doctor never mentioned these at all? And the answer is very simple. So these mushrooms can't be patented. So Big Pharma couldn't be able to profit off these. Plus, they also keep money in their pockets by keeping you sick, not by curing you.
I feel like mushrooms are the missing link to our human development. They say that there was a huge technological mental jump many years ago where we went from basically living in caves to having math and science and all this stuff overnight, essentially. Happened so quickly. The prevailing theory seems to be right now that that was due to alien intervention, because, you know, that's what's on the forefront of everyone's mind right now is aliens. I also like the theory that it was because we discovered psychedelic mushrooms and it expanded our consciousness through dropping shrooms, pretty much.
I don't want to say too much because I don't want to show up missing, as they say. Miami police are clearing up.
What's with the air quotes?
Because you'll see, they're clearing up a conspiracy theory about a recent invasion. So this happened on New Year's Day. A large police presence caught on video. Now look at this. This was supposed to be for a fight in a mall. Look at all of these police officers that showed up. This video posted online. Eventually it came out maybe it was due to an alien sighting. That's what people in the mall were saying, claiming it was due to an alien sighting in the area. But what really happened? Look at all these police cars. Later on, police said it was a group of about 50 teenagers that started what they called a riot in the mall, setting fireworks and looting. The alien in this video was, they said, just a really tall person walking. Well, if there were 50 teens looting and setting off fireworks in the mall, where's the video of that? There is not one video online. If I'm wrong, at me. I'll stand up. At me. There is not one video of 50 teenagers. Every time they get wild in Chicago, you see it on the news.
You do.
Every time they get wild in San Francisco or San Diego or wherever, in one of those sand cities in California, saying that they're smashing and grabbing everything they can see. There's video all over the place. Where is the video of people setting off fireworks in the mall?
And it's a mall. They have mall surveillance video. Where is the video?
Just show me one.
Just one.
Just show me one video,
Just
but they
one.
can't do it. And you know why?
Why?
Because it didn't happen.
What did happen?
10-foot beings. People say,
here we
people
go.
in the mall. Now, here is what's interesting. There are a lot of people who are on TikTok saying, I was in the mall. I saw the chaos after. The people are saying, I took video of all the people running in the mall when we were trying to get out, because, you know, once you see people running, you're supposed to run too. Their videos are gone. Everybody on TikTok who was in the mall is saying, I was taking video. I didn't know what was happening. The videos are not on my phone.
So what are you saying?
I'm saying, what if they were remotely white, allegedly? Now listen, I don't want to say too much because I don't want to show up missing, as they say.
I
you gotta
will
let
say
me know.
this.
Okay, go ahead.
If it was an alien walking down the street, where's the video of that?
People who are saying they took videos, the videos are no longer on their phones. The videos are no longer on their phones.
And unless something truly mind-blowing comes out about this will be the last time you hear about this on this channel. We're going to put this one to bed. I just thought it was interesting that they're actually talking about the conspiracy angle of this on the news. Yeah, something fishy went on there, but I don't think we're going to get any more details about it. I don't think we're going to find out what really went down.
A whistleblower at Lockheed Martin has now come forward with stunning details about Lockheed's secret alien recovery program and reverse engineering program. You heard me right. A team that gets a phone call, goes out and recovers downed UFOs.
I get an email about 2 weeks ago. Says he was in the military. He worked for DIA. He said that Lockheed has its own NHI, non-human intelligent craft. Lockheed eventually broke through, his words, of how to successfully reproduce a NHI, a non-human intelligent craft. They were so successful at it that they ended up not informing the government of their breakthrough. On top of that, Lockheed created its own recovery team where they were tracking extraterrestrial craft along with aspects of the government, whether that be NORAD or JSOC. Listen to me very closely, folks, so that this team could pounce on their Lockheed craft that they reproduced that might have crashed so the government didn't get it.
So we just heard a couple days ago that from a whistleblower that there's not any actual research team that's actively going out there and trying to collect these down crafts. It's just a matter of when they hear about them and they're able to get their hands on it, they do. But now we know there are groups out there that are doing that. They just work at Lockheed Martin. They're in cahoots with the government, but they're not cooperating fully. That's interesting.
Did you see the Unreal 5 video game engine?
Yeah,
the car on
the
fire.
Car on fire.
Someone said you're not going to be able to ever know what's real again. So this is fake.
Mhm.
This is the Unreal 5 engine. Look how good that car on fire
Yeah,
looks.
I mean it looks
Fucking incredible.
very real.
And look how the flames vary. Like the flames vary like an actual flame would. It's not like sometimes you'll watch like digital flames. They do the same pattern
Right.
over and over and over again. But this just looks like real fucking fire.
There's a level of randomness. It's reacting to the thing in it.
Yeah. It's nuts, man. Yeah, the thing is making the smoke move. Motherfucker, dude. They're so good now. You're not gonna have any idea.
No, you can't tell. You can't tell what's real at all anymore.
I think pop through it.
Just the car is fake. The rest of the video should be real.
But Jamie, I could imagine that's all the video engine.
It
Why
could,
would
no,
you think
it
that-
could be, but like right there, that person walking in the background.
Yeah, but you could do that.
You could.
Well, that would be easy because they're not even in focus.
If that doesn't freak you out, whew, that looks so hyper realistic. We are so close to being able to create a simulation that would be no different than reality. If we just had the tactile, like full body suit where you could actually feel the environment that you're in. I mean, visually, I feel like it's already there.
You ever heard about the aliens that contacted us in 1981 trying to tell us how to stop reincarnating as humans over and over and over again? You're foolish. That's what I thought too, until I heard the full story. In 1981, Carla Rucker, who was a girl from Kentucky, began receiving telepathic contact from a group of entities calling themselves Ra. According to Rucker, these were the stick with me, the collective consciousness from a higher dimension of the planet Venus. They evolved 2.6 billion years ago into a higher dimension, and they came back to give us information and to tell us how to stop reincarnating and much more. Then over the next couple years, they kept this contact going, and there was 3 of them. There was Carla herself, there was Don, then there was also Jim, Jim wrote down everything. Don was the one asking questions. It was kind of written in a Q&A format, and because they were asking questions to this entity, but the entity was actually talking through Carla. And all of these conversations they actually put into a book series, actually I think 4 or 5 books, and it's called The Law of One. So what you're saying is she got possessed. I wouldn't say she was possessed because she had a Bible at her head in order to make contact with them. And also, this was all documented extensively. Like, they had microphones on the whole time. You can actually go listen to the original audios from 1981. Okay. So how do we stop reincarnating over and over then? Well, real quick, I think it's important to understand what the main message of Ra actually is. Here's a quote from session 4. The law of one, though beyond the limitations of name, as you call vibratory sound complexes, may be approximated by stating that all things are one, that there is no polarity, there is no wrong, no right, no disharmony, but only identity. All is one, and that one is love light, or light/love, the infinite creator. So it's about everything being God. Kind of, but it's not a religious book at all. In the book, it actually says that it doesn't matter if you know about the book, The Law of One, and if you don't even know about what the Law of One actually is. That's fine. The only thing you need to do to move on is you need to love and be in service to others. Like get to heaven? Not in the traditional sense at all. In the Law of One philosophy, there are 7 major densities in our universe. Think of them as different thresholds that have been separated off, but they're just different vibrational pockets in which different bodies can exist. Another way to think about it is, think about the ocean. When you go down in the ocean, you need to have a specific body in order to go far enough down. And so what the Law of One is saying, what Ra is saying, is that you need to have different bodies for each density. And again, there's 7 of them. 7 major ones. So then reincarnation is kind of like just playing the game of different bodies with different experiences. So how does loving others get you to a higher density? Well, according to what they're telling us, it's actually just math. If you're more than 50% in service to others, then you'll move on in the positive polarization from this 3rd density to 4th density. But there's also the option to move on negatively, which means you're according to Law of One, 95% or more in service to yourself. So there really is negative entities.
Tell you, this makes me think of Dolores Cannon. If anyone's familiar with that, is that something y'all would like for me to dive into in the channel? The ideas of reincarnation and getting maybe a few clips on here of people describing their afterlife experience from dying and coming back. I'm fascinated by that stuff, but I don't know if you guys would be interested in it. But that's the end of this video today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you'll come back and see me again tomorrow for the next one. Have a great, safe, fantastic day. I will see you tomorrow.